So students, today we are going to see about the Unit 5 Scheduling and Project Management. So today's PPT video session, we are going to see Project Management Scheduling Techniques per CPM. So what is project? So projects is in all the organizations, okay? That is in even in a software industry it starts, and even in a rocket launching or a space any innovations or research done, there happens the projects. So project is a thing where different activities are performed to achieve a particular output is termed as a project. So according to Project Management Institute, the process or guide with 5 steps, that is 5 stages. The first one, it starts with the initiation, that is done by the organization or any research head, and about the project requirement. And next one is planning happens with respect to cost involved and peoples involved and material required. So resource allocations will tell in one way. Next one, executing, that is uh, after the planning we will go with the planning, that is implementing the plan in a action. The next one, controlling, monitoring or checking whether the project is done with respect to the project need or objectives. The next one, closure. So once the final output is done in the projects, then we will make a closure by having some documentations about the project period, and what are the failures happens in between the project execution, and what are the corrective actions taken, what is the final output, what is the feedback received from the end users, whoever is going to make use of the project. So project management can be applied to almost all the types of industries and type of project, and widely it is used to control the complex process of software development projects. Next, we are going to see about the 5 goals every project manager should aspire to achieve. So here we have 5 goals. The first one is project manager should think that the project should do the project on time, that is scheduled time he should have complete his project. Then it should be under the budget, he should finish the project under the estimated budget. Next one, it should meet the requirements. And the next one is keep the customer happy. And the last one is keep the members or the team group, whoever is involved in the project, make them also be a happiest one. Next, we are going to see about the project life cycle. Here we have 4 stages in project. The first one is project initiations, that is definitions about the projects, what is the need, objective, what are the problems will occur while going with this project. So for this we want to go with the feasibility study, that is why you want to go with the projects, should we do the projects, these are the questions you'll ask in this project initiation. Next, you'll go with the project planning. Once this need is identified, you'll go with the project planning. So when we want to complete the projects, with whom, with what, that is material, and what are the investment to be made, and all those things will be done in a project planning. So here we will identify the project head along with his team, and roles and responsibility of the project team will be defined here. And the project manager will go for recommending the solutions how to carry on this projects without any deviations. The next one, project executions. So here the project will started to implement with respect to the planning, that is done by the HR, that is project head along with his team members, and he will monitor every stages whether the project execution is with respect to the planning or not. If any deviations happens, that will also recorded for the future corrections. So timelines, timely guidelines will be given for the team managers, along with the organization head will also have a focus on this, because they invest more on this project executions. Next, once the project is developed or implemented successfully, the final thing is project closure. So once the project is completed, the team will have a final meeting, and they will discuss what are the how they performed it and what are the difficulties they faced during this project period, and they will have a farewell, and all the meetings minutes will be recorded for the future projects. Next we are going to see about project management process. So project management starts from project planning, project scheduling, project control. Scheduling is time framing, that is mentioning determining the time framing. The next one we are going to see about the project team. So project team is a individual peoples from various area and departments from the company will involve in the project team, like testing, developing, designing, and uh, evaluating team will be in a project team. So matrix organization is, it is it represents a team structures with the members from different functional areas, and depending on the skills required they will form in a matrix organization. The next one is project manager. So without a project manager the project team cannot have a directions, coordinations cannot be done. So project manager plays an important role in project management. Next one, scope statement. So it is a document which provides the understanding about the projects and justifications, should we do the projects, and what are the difficulties are going to happen, and the expected results of the projects are the scope statement, that is, or the outcome statement. The next one, statement of the work. So it is written descriptions of objectives of projects. The next one, organizational breakdown structure, a chart that shows with the organization units are responsible for work units. The next last one is responsibility assignment matrix. So it shows the responsibility of each individual team members and what are the works they have to do during this projects, and who is accountable and who is responsible. All these things will be included in the responsibility assignment matrix. Next we are going to see about the scheduling. So it is the output of aggregate planning. So aggregate planning includes individual product requirements, delivery time required to produce, and routing. So these are the inputs for scheduling, and again we will consider about the constraints like required maintenance. What are the maintenance is required with respect to the material or machines, tools, equipments, even with a man, what are the training is required, those things will be included. Capacity constraints, whether the company is having enough capacity to handle those projects, or how to expand the capacity. The sequencing constraints, so sequencing is making some order in the project executions or material movements. So we what are the problems will occur in this order management. Next one, available buffer inventories, whether the inventory is in a full stock to go with these projects, or we want to go with placing an order with the suppliers. These are the things we will consider as a constraint, though, and these constraint will also included in the scheduling as an input. And with the aggregate planning and constraint, we will have a resource allocation, and the next one, sequencing will also happens with the scheduling. So output we receives as resource allocations and sequencing. Next we are going to see about the important topic, factors affecting or influencing scheduling. So here we have internal factors as well as the external factors. Internal factors is, these are the factors which affects the project internally or inside the organization. And external factors, the factors which affects the project from the outside. So here we have 7 points under internal factors: finished good inventories, process interval, types of machine available, availability of personnel, availability of material, manufacturing facilities, economic productions run. So now first we are going to see about the finished good inventories. So if the finished good inventory is enough in the company, then our project can be done without any delay. Okay, the scheduling can be happen in an effective manner. If the finished good is not not up to the level, again we have to wait for the suppliers to send the finished goods so that the project can be done. So this is also one factor which influences the project management. The next one is process interval. So for here I will tell an example. Process interval is, if you are going to have a car manufacturing project management, here the process time for car will be more than the manufacturing for a soap. So there will be some delay will happen. The process interval, that is work movements of goods from inputs from one work center to another will have some break. So due to the availability of the inputs like a raw material or a tools equipments, the movements can have a delay in that. But in the sense of a soap, all the raw material can be mixed in one place and the whole process will happens from one machines to another. The movements will be in a fast way. So process interval for a car manufacturing will be more than the soap. Next, so this will also affect the scheduling. Next, types of machines available. If the company having the old machines that is also outdated, so we have to think about the maintenance also. But if the company is having the updated machines, the scheduling can be done in an effective way. This is also one factors which influences the scheduling. Next, availability of the personnel. If the project team is the project that is given for the company is a new one, and if you want to give enough training to the existing employees, the training timing will happens in additional time, and we have to see whether the employees are ready with the new projects. This will affect. And another way we can think, if the employees are enough trained and to handle the projects, then the scheduling will be a better one. Next, we are going to see about the availability of material. If the availability of the material is enough in the inventory, scheduling can be done in a successful way. If the availability of the material is not in a full stock, we want to wait for the suppliers to deliver it, and if the supplier make the delivery in a delay way, again the scheduling will be a failure one. The next, manufacturing facilities, which includes power, water, and tools, equipments, good water supply. So all those things will be considered in manufacturing facilities. If anything goes wrong, if anything is lacking, again a scheduling is a ineffective one. The next one is economic productions run. So here we think about how a particular slot or a batch of productions can produce with more units. Okay, for example, with minimum inputs, maximum output can be received. That comes in a economic productions run. So it purely happens if the company is having a maximum capacity. So economic productions runners, so if a customer is placing a single unit, that will not yield a bigger profit. If the particular customer is having a bulky order, so he will produce in a minimum cost with maximum productions. So that is your economic productions run. So it depends on the capability of the manufacturing company, and also the order that is placed by the customers plays an important role in economic productions run. The last, we are going to see about the external factors. The first one is consumer demands, consumer delivery dates. The next one is dealers and retailer inventories. So consumer demands, we will have mismatch between the actual demand and the sales demand. If these two meets, then our consumer demands can be analyzed properly. So at a present, our sales demand is 100 units, but the actual demand happens is only 25. Again, scheduling will be a big failure one. The next one, consumer delivery date. See, our backbone of our business is end users, that is our customers. So we can make them 100% satisfied with only with the on-time delivery and keeping the promise. So if the delivery date happens delay, that will also create a big failure to the scheduling. The next one is dealers and retailer inventories. So if our dealer and retailer inventory is not up to the level to receive our projects, again a scheduling is a big failure one. Next, we are going to see about the scheduling techniques. So planning, scheduling, and control are considered to be the basic managerial action, and CPM PET has been rightfully accorded due to the importance in the literature of operation research and quantitative analysis. Common project scheduling techniques are program evaluation and review techniques, that is PERT. Program evaluation and review techniques. So next one is CPM, that is critical path method. The last one is Gantt chart. So here now we are going to see a little detail about this PERT and CPM, and even I have shared the videos of how to solve the sums of PERT and CPM in Google Classroom. So just go through that. So PERT is a technique which is mainly used for new projects that is not existing one. Example is, if you are going to if you have developed a new or invented a new thing, in that sense the project is not the time estimate is not known. At least 3 times we have to estimate it in PERT. Next examples of PERT is development of missile, development of launching of rockets, etc. CPM is applied to all the known projects like constructions of building, manufacture, assembly of motors, and motor and the maintenance projects. Next we are going to see about the difference between PERT and CPM. So here we have the difference with the help of with respect to the characteristics. So characteristics is, if the types of project, it is known for CPM and it is unknown for PERT. And time estimate is, it is single time estimate for CPM and it is 3 time estimate for PERT. And time, it is non-random variable, and here PERT is random variable. Nature of time estimate is determinist and PERT is probabilistic. Type of network is activity oriented network and event oriented network. Next we are going to see about the framework of PERT and CPM. So basically 6 steps are common for both the techniques. So we have to define the projects and what are the activities or tasks involved, and we have to develop the relationship among the activities, and we have to draw the connecting of all the activities. So each activity should have a even numbers. Dummy arrows are used to avoid the same number for the 2 activities. The next one is assign time and cost estimate to each activities. Compute the longest time path through the network, that is called critical path. Use the network to help the plan, schedule, monitor and control the projects. Next we are going to see about the 5 useful questions that should be asked while preparing the activity network. The first one is this a start activity? The second one is this a finish activity? What activity precede this? What activity follow this? And what activity is concurrent with this? Concurrent is if the activity is having the same nature, that should be start simultaneously. Those activities comes in a concurrent activity. Next we are going to see about the important terms that is that should be considered in drawing the CPM PERT network. The first one is arrow, next one is circle, next one network, activity on arrow, activity on node, and dummy activity. So arrow is indicate the activity, that is time required to perform a part of the work. Next circle is indicate the event, that is beginning and ending of the activity. Next network is it shows the sequential relationship among the activities using node and arrows. Activity and arrow is, arrow represents activity or nodes or events for a point in time. Activity on node is node represents activity. Arrow shows the presides relationship. Dummy activity used to identify the precedence relationship correctly and to eliminate the possible confusions of 2 or more activities having the same starting ending nodes. Next we are going to see about the other elements like earliest start, that is which is the value in the rectangle near the tail of each activity. The next one is earliest finish is equal to earliest start plus durations. Latest finish is the value in the diamond at the head of each activity. Latest start is latest finish minus duration. And here we are going to see about the major 2 types, that is float and slack. So total float is spare time available when all the preceding activities occur at the earliest possible time and all the succeeding activities occurs at the latest possible time. So total float is equal to latest flow start minus earliest start. Activities with 0 total floats are critical path. So next we are going to see about the situations in network diagram. So here we have a different thing. Next we are going to see about the crashing CPM network. So it is the process of fine tuning a project schedule with a short term delivery time. So it helps to reduce the delivery time and complete the The time complete the task in critical path can be also reduced. Method for crashing the project is assess the cost effectiveness of crashing activities on the critical path, and second one is implement the most cost effective crash until it is no longer cost effective. The last one is crash network. The benefits of CPM effort is useful at many stages of project management, mathematically simple, give critical path and slack time, provide project documentations, useful in monitoring costs. So with this, the slides explanations over. All the best.